This is CBC Here and Now.
More signs tonight that support for the long-running tie-up in the crab industry is starting to melt away. I'm Terry Roberts live in Lassie with that story coming up.
I'll tell you about a new Marine Institute facility in Holyrood. It's called The Launch, coming up on Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Carolyn Stokes. We begin tonight with the crab fishery and a sign that some fishermen are starting to break with their union and start catching crab even without a deal or higher prices. Terry Roberts is live tonight in Lassie, where some fishermen have left the dock to go catch their quota. So Terry, tensions are running high as this dispute drags on, but how did all of this start?
Yeah, Carolyn, tension and division. And really, I'm here today in Lassie because what else? Social media. So I was monitoring Facebook over the weekend. We all heard of it, the Newfoundland Fishermen's Forum on Facebook. And I noticed a post there from fisherman Jamie Molan, based here in Lassie. Now, on that, he owns the Sunset Cruiser. And it appears Molan and his crew, they may have been the first to head to the fishing grounds. And it didn't take long for word to spread on that. And of course, this is a very tense time, and there have been reports that there would be trouble if some harvesters went to sea in defiance of this tie-up. So Jamie Molan, he made a very direct post on Facebook over the weekend. So he said he sailed for his crew members and their families. He sailed for his enterprise, saying he'll lose his boat if he doesn't fish. Now, as expected, reaction to that was very mixed. Some called Jamie Molan a hero. So others criticized his decision to go fishing, saying he was weakening the union's bargaining position in all this. Now, there was some chatter that Molan's boat would be met by protesters when it landed. So we arrived in Lassie this afternoon, and here's what we know right now. So the Sunset Cruiser, that's Molan's boat, it was supposed to dock here today. Now, Molan wanted to come here because this, of course, this is a familiar port. He has support here. But just look behind me, there's Arctic ice. And so what we know right now is that the Sunset Cruiser, it's packed in ice right now outside. It's out of visual range, and they're unable to get here in Lassie. So here's what we don't know. We don't know whether the Sunset Cruiser, whether it's loaded with crab. We just don't know that. We don't know whether the crew offloaded at a different port, perhaps last night, or whether, I'm hearing reports, they may have just dropped their pots and came back in. Now, I've exchanged a few messages with Jamie Molan, but as you might expect, he's not saying very much right now because this is such a tense situation. So what are fishermen here in Lassie? Well, how are they reacting to all this? Well, this afternoon I spoke with Terry Ryan. Now, he's an outspoken fisherman. He's a bit of a maverick, you can say. Now, he says Jamie Molan should receive the Order of Newfoundland and Labrador for what he's done. In fact, Terry Ryan, he's inviting other fishermen. He said, if you're going to go out and catch your crab, why don't you land it right here in Lassie?
I think Lassie is your port. We welcome you here. The grocery stores would welcome you. The fuel dealership would welcome you. The offloading companies we got two here would welcome you. The monitors and graders would welcome you. Here in Lassie with open arms, our economy would be booming.
Now, well, Terry Ryan says $2.20 a pound for crab landed at the wharf. He says it's a terrible price, but he says it's time that fishermen accept that the market for crab has collapsed.
I can turn a profit. I'm not a big profit, and I'm not happy with $2.20 a pound. No, I'm not happy at all. But I was much happier last year at $7.60 a pound. I had a fantastic year, a bumper year, a record year, an undescribable year profit-wise last year. And I've been into fishery long enough to know now that you can't have those record years every year. I wish you could.
But Terry Ryan's opinion, well, it's not universal here, as you might accept. Now, here's what fisherman Jimmy Lee Foss, he had to say this afternoon.
I can't say I support what he did. No, I can't say that. I won't be on the wharf to throw gas over his crab when he gets in either. But no, I don't really support it. Everybody is fighting for their lives here. I mean, no one needs to fish more than me and my crew. And that's, in my mind, that's why I'm doing this. I'm just trying to support the rest of the tie-up for now, and everybody's in a hard spot.
Yeah, so what's the latest on this crab tie-up right now? Well, I'm hearing that more and more boats are untying and that they're going to the crab grounds to fish their quotas. Now, while, including, by the way, Terry Ryan's boat. He left yesterday morning. His boat left from Carmenville yesterday morning. Now, Jimmy Lee Foss, he says his business will be devastated if he has to fish for $2.20 per pound. Reporting live from Lassie here in White Bay, I'm Terry Roberts for Here and Now.
Well, it's not just in Lassie. The debate over what to do this fishing season is also happening on the Northern Peninsula. Freelance reporter Leila Baudouin has more from harvesters in Port Saunders.
That's their home for the next 2 months.
It's unbelievable. We're just trying to make a living, and everybody got bills. So there you go. We gotta make money to pay them.
So we all set for Sunday?
Linda Payne has been fishing lobster alongside her husband Patrick Payne for 25 years.
4 o'clock in the morning comes early. We leaves the house by 4:15. We're out there the whole day.
A proud fisherwoman, Payne says she loves her job, but fishery delays have soured what they do.
And it's the only thing we got is lobster and halibut. That's all we got. The cod was took from us the last 2 years. And this is the only thing we got to make our living.
The inshore fishery is going down slowly going away. And we don't seem to have any government officials that worry too much about it.
After tense negotiations, lobster boats are out, but it's week 5 of a snow crab standstill, with harvesters saying no to $2.20, a far cry from last year's $7.60 per pound. While that $886 million fishery stays in the water, shrimp negotiations also look bleak.
We're starving salvation here on this province right now. Like I said, everything is going up and down, and the fishery is not moving ahead at all.
These back and forth negotiations are not uncommon, but this year there's been little movement getting these boats out on the water to fish. With that, there's been a major disruption to an economic food chain that extends far beyond these wharves and sheds.
Everything goes down in rural Newfoundland. Fishery goes down. Everything goes down. And that's a poor outlook for Newfoundland.
But yeah, it's no trouble to see the difference here this year according to any other year.
From takeout stands to plant workers, things are slow in these communities, and it's frustrating for people. They're surrounded by a resource that's dripping in politics.
Anybody thinks that you can survive without the fishery around here? They can't. It's not possible. Right?
Well, we keep saying every year it can't get worse, and it seems like the next year's worse, so.
It's an early rise for this lobster crew heading out to sea. And though that product is moving, the crab forecast is top of mind.
You know, one time 220 is fine. 220 is not fine now. It just don't work. I mean, you haven't got to be a genius. All you need is a calculator and run the numbers.
Very poor. Something needs to be done.
While the crab stays in the water, there's still work to be done here on the wharf. Many of these harvesters fish many species, but crab is the big payoff. And the longer it stays in the water, it means deeper trouble for their livelihoods. Leila Baudouin, CBC News, Port Saunders.
Well, to Central now, a family in Summerford is making a plea to the local council for permission to keep their beloved pet pony. The Hawkins family says the town has told them they have 30 days to remove the Shetland pony named Sparks and the small barn where he lives. And the Hawkins aren't alone.
Sparks is like a local celebrity. I mean, everybody love him. We bring him to the school. Kids come here all summer long to see him. He's just loved by everybody. The removal order is to remove our barn. And without a barn, we can't have Sparks. And the barn is just a small shed.
I got ordered to have my animals out of town by the 5th of June. If not, town council is coming out to remove my barn, remove my animals. I have 115, 120 animals in my garden. My great-grandfather owned this land back in the 1800s. This is rural Newfoundland.
And as you can see, the crowd of supporters there, we're not done with this story yet. We'll return to Summerford in about 15 minutes on Here and Now.
Well, the sun was shining for a good chunk of the day today, especially for eastern portions of the island. We do have lots of cloud cover moving in and on the way as an area of low pressure tracks across Labrador, bringing a cold front with it, and that is going to spark some showers as we head through the overnight period and into tomorrow for most of the island. Zooming out, you can see we've got a cold pocket of air up across portions of Labrador, and that is going to head south as we head through the next couple of days. Some cooler days ahead, that's for sure. But taking a look at the current temperatures, daytime highs today anyway, 2 to 9 degrees, I should say, up across Labrador. And many areas seeing those double-digit temperatures, 10 to about 15 across the island. Coastal areas much cooler though. And Burgeo only sat about 9 degrees today. Now the trend as we head through the next couple of days will be a warming one, which will be nice. We're looking at those temperatures well into the teens through the week for most of the island. And then a little bit of a cool down up across Labrador, like I said, as some of that colder air moves in. But as we head towards the end of the week, temperatures way up for the long weekend. We'll talk about that coming up.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, you no longer have to wear a mask inside health facilities in Newfoundland and Labrador. An internal memo obtained by CBC says as of today, staff and visitors will no longer need to mask up inside healthcare facilities like hospitals and long-term care homes. People are still encouraged to wear masks, especially when staff interact with patients, but it will no longer be mandatory. New details tonight on an investigation into a police officer in Western Newfoundland. In February, we reported that the province's police watchdog laid criminal charges against a member of the RCMP. Well, court documents provide a behind-the-scenes look at that investigation. It's before charges were laid and shows investigators wanted to keep Constable Michael Hand's cell phone as evidence. Here in Now's Ariana Kelland has more from Corner Brook.
It started in the spring of 2020. The RCMP launched an investigation into cocaine trafficking on the west coast of Newfoundland. But a court affidavit says that investigation led the RCMP to one of their own, Constable Michael Hand, who worked here at this detachment in Corner Brook. A sergeant from the province's serious incident response team signed this affidavit spelling out details of their investigation. She says the RCMP heard from sources that Hand was involved with known drug traffickers. And months later, he admitted to having personal relationships with people he believed dealt drugs. To keep his security clearance, Hand agreed to sever those ties. But source information kept coming in. And in January 2021, an investigation was launched into possible law enforcement corruption. Police tracked cell phones and vehicles and used undercover police officers from the Mounties Anti-Corruption Unit in British Columbia. The undercover operation included more than 20 scenarios, including undercover operators ingratiating themselves with Han and his girlfriend. The documents allege Han was in social settings with drug traffickers and even introduced the undercover operators to some of them. Then, in late May of last year, Han is alleged to have stored what he believed was an ounce of cocaine in a backhoe on his property in Little Rapids. They also allege Han used the RCMP's internal system to look up the undercover operator, persons of interest in the Mounties West Coast drug probe, and known drug traffickers. Han is charged with possession of cocaine, unauthorized use of a computer, and breach of trust. Those allegations have yet to be tested in court. He's scheduled to enter a plea later this month. Ariana Kelland, CBC News, Corner Brook.
Well, the RCMP says Michael Han resigned this month. Meanwhile, his lawyer, Bob Buckingham, says his client is presumed innocent and will not be arguing a defense in the media. Well, it's a sign of the changing ocean industry. What was a fish plant in Holyrood is now a new center for ocean research. Today, the Marine Institute showed off the new Arthur W. May building. Here now's Mark Quinn reports.
Since 2010, it's been known as the Holyrood Marine Base. But now, with the addition of the Arthur W. May building, this Marine Institute and Memorial University facility is now known as the Launch. The new $22 million structure promises to be a beautiful oceanside place to learn, but it will also serve businesses in the ocean sector, the fisheries, aquaculture, and the oil industry.
This vision has been over 10 years in the making, and now it's finally become a reality today. So it really is transformational as far as the work that we'll be able to do here, the programs that we'll be able to offer.
And we're working on underwater artificial intelligence.
Already research is being done here.
Applications which are developing the autonomously AUV, the autonomous underwater vehicle, to delineate oil spills using microbubbles as a proxy out here in the bay.
Santos says that with tools like these underwater vehicles and these solar-powered buoys gathering data, there is more to come.
Where it's located provides what we like to call a living lab environment. So it's a safe, sheltered environment, but it provides real-world conditions. And so our clients are able to bring their technology here and to demonstrate it, to test it, to move it into a stage where they're able to move it into their operations.
It's named after the late Arthur W. May, who died in 2014. He was a deeply respected ocean scientist, volunteer, and former MUN president. For his family, this is a powerful tribute and an honor.
He was the first Newfoundlander Labradorian to become a deputy minister in the federal government. He chaired many boards, many commissions. There's not a day that goes by that our family, my siblings, don't think about him. And I got emotional because we all wish he could be here for the special event.
Today, students are using this building, and already about a dozen people work here. Santos says that's just a start. Mark Quinn, CBC News, Holyrood.
Well, the Growlers are moving on to the ECHL's Eastern Conference Final. This after winning 5-2 over the Reading Royals on Saturday night in St. John's. The team announced its home dates today, playing against either the Florida Everglades or the Jacksonville Icemen. Game 4 kicks off Thursday, May 25th. Well, from hockey to basketball and back again, it takes a lot of work to accommodate the sports played at the Mary Brown Center in St. John's, especially when some of the players wear skates. We tagged along to watch how the transition goes down when it's time to play ball.
So we have a specialized conversion crew that come in. So what they'll do, we clean the ice first after the game. We lay down a subfloor, and then we'll lay down the basketball floor, which is essentially a giant puzzle. And then we put the basketball nets, and then we take out the glass so that when the basketball spectators come in, they get to have an unobstructed view of the basketball floor. We set out the chairs and any other events that need to be done. Concurrently, we'll clean up the building all night, and then so we're ready for the game the next day. Right now, with the crew we got, they've got it down to about 4.5 hours. It's quite the transition.
This year alone, we've had 2 conversions a week, every week since before Christmas. It's been absolutely crazy. Last week we had 4 in a row, and this week we've actually got 4 in a row and again. So tonight was hockey, we go to basketball, tomorrow it's hockey again, and then it's basketball after that again, so it's quite the change. As hard as it is, it's very satisfying, and I'm sure each one of my guys would tell you the exact same thing. They love it when you step back at the end of the night and it's just completely different. It takes a lot.
Well, a sunny day on the southern shore and a quick sighting of this iceberg in Fairyland. It's been catching a lot of attention lately and is still standing tall. Locals say it's moved a lot in the last month, but is still holding fast.
Yeah, beautiful day for iceberg hunting. Lots of blue sky out there. We do have some clouds on the way, though, some showers also in the forecast. We'll talk all about it when I come back.
This weather update is brought to you by the Healthcare Foundation Home Lottery. The absolute final deadline is midnight Friday, June 2nd. Order tickets now at hcfhomelottery.ca.
Well, I've been off for a while, but it's nice to be back, and the weather is, thank you, the weather is certainly taking a turn out there. It's been awful for so long, and finally the sun is out.
Yeah, yes, it has been nice. And looking ahead to, the next couple of, well, at least next week or so, it looks like we're in for some warmer temperatures, which finally is nice as we head into the middle of May. But for now, we've got an area of low pressure that's going to bring some showers. So sun and showers is good for flowers. Let's take a look at what's going on out there. So we do have a cold front extending there. In behind that, we do have a bit cooler weather. So areas to the north already seeing some of that cooler air. But yeah, as we look at our daytime highs today, 5 degrees in Nain, 8 in Lab City today, and temperatures in that onshore flow along the coast, both the west and south coast, looking at single-digit temperatures. Otherwise, between 10 to about 15 degrees is our daytime highs out there. Taking a live look outside, lots of blue sky in St. John's, 10 degrees right now, but it is a bit windy out there. Westerlies between 40 and about 60 kilometers per hour, and that is making it feel a little chilly, that's for sure. And we are looking at these winds easing as we head through the overnight tonight. Temperatures still out there, about 12 degrees in Bonavista, 13 in Gander, and still those single-digit temperatures. They are going to drop a little bit as we head through the night tonight, especially up across Labrador, down to 0 in Nain at the moment and about +1 in Makkovik. So there's a lot more where that came from as far as temperatures are concerned. Looking at the radar, lots of shower activity on the west coast of the island, and the clouds are creeping their way further east, and that is going to be the story as we head through the night tonight, with that shower activity continuing, that colder air in play up across Labrador. So the chance of some flurries certainly possible for central and coastal areas of Labrador as we head through the overnight period. Now, it does look like the avalanche should stay dry for the most part tonight. We will see those showers move in as we head towards the early morning hours tomorrow. So as far as the temperatures are concerned for tonight, we're looking at temperatures sitting somewhere a couple of degrees above 0, somewhere between 2 and about 7 degrees. Winds out of the southwest between 20 to 40 kilometers per hour across the island. Labrador, your winds will generally be easing, except in the west, where you'll see your winds northwesterlies between 20 and 40 kilometers per hour. Now that's where that colder air will be well below 0, about -6 in Lab City. And then Northern Peninsula, you're going to sit somewhere between 1 and about 2 degrees through the overnight tonight. Now, shower activity expected, like I said, by tomorrow morning for the eastern half of the island. Some of these showers may be heavy at times, but the rest of the island looking at a clearing trend as we head into early afternoon, late afternoon. Northern Peninsula, you'll likely hang on to a few showers and cloud cover through the day. But again, as we head towards sunset, or at least early evening, you will see those skies clear, and then some showers will move right back in again for for western portions of the island. Labrador, the best chance of seeing the sun will be towards the coast. Otherwise, you're looking at the chance of showers or flurries through the day. And again, those cooler temperatures will stick around as well. More showers will move in late day, and then higher elevations along the west coast, you may even pick up a couple of centimeters of snow. But other than that, as far as amounts are concerned, generally talking about 10 to 20 millimeters, and the most of that will fall along the west coast and south coast of the island, and this will take us through to Wednesday morning. Otherwise, just a trace to 2 to 5 millimeters. Looks like that will be the most. There are some pockets, though, that could pick up about 5 to 10 millimeters, and again, that will be through the day tomorrow. Temperatures tomorrow in the teens. Again, some sunshine certainly possible for St. John's, about 12 degrees in onshore flow, though. Your temperatures will be in the single digits. Through central, you're looking at teen temperatures as well. Harbour Breton around 9, towards the west coast between 8 to about 14 degrees. The warmest will be inland areas. Northern Peninsula, 6 to about 8 degrees. And then generally light winds, which will be nice, but the cooler temperatures certainly to the north, and that's why you're going to see that chance of some flurry activity. Temperatures between 2 and 4 degrees. Now, there is a warm up on the way. Temperatures skyrocketing into the teens as we head towards the weekend. I'll have those details coming up.
A family in Summerford on the island's central coast is making a plea to the council there to allow their beloved pet pony to stay in the town. Sparks, the Shetland pony, was adopted by the Hawkins family 5 years ago. They keep him in a small barn and take him out for leash walks in the area. But on Friday, the Hawkins family received an order from the town to remove the pony and the barn in 30 days. Julia Hawkins joins us now, and it looks like you have a bit of a crowd there with you. First of all,
I brought some friends. It was short notice, but a few came.
Yeah, so tell us what's happening there now.
So we've had Sparks for 5 years. Our friend had him for the other 5, so he's been in Singapore for 10. He's biting me now. For 10 years. And we just received a removal order to get rid of our barn and to get rid of Sparks.
Okay, so you have Sparks there right by your side. Who are the people there behind you?
So this is some of Summerford, and pretty much all of Summerford is for us. So these are the ones that I gathered up pretty quickly.
And they're there to show their support for you, I guess.
Of course, yes. So we got Sparks 5 years ago from our friend Mer. He developed a lung disease and he couldn't keep him. So we decided to take him for him. We're just a couple minutes away from his house. And he's a rescue. He was rescued from Bonavista, so he's had a hard life. And he's been here with us for 5 years, and he's my daughter's pony.
And I mentioned that you take him out for walks on a leash. What kind of reaction do you get from people in the community when you have Sparks out and about?
Well, Sparks is like a local celebrity. I mean, everybody loves him. We bring him to the school. Kids come here all summer long to see him. He's just loved by everybody.
Mm-hmm. Have you received any complaints about Sparks?
So I've received 0 complaints against Sparks. Mark, my friend that had him, 0 complaints. There was 3 removal orders actually ordered for Summerford. It was myself, Frank Brown, and Elvis Boyd, 3 of us. So they have different situations. One's got a farm. The other one's got like a sort of bird sanctuary. So they're just planning on getting rid of, I guess, everything that's here. The removal order is to remove our barn. I was told verbally that I have to get rid of the barn and Sparks. So on the removal order, it just said the barn, but it also said that I'm not allowed to have livestock, which Sparks is our pet, not livestock.
So if there were 3 orders issued, is there some kind of like crackdown on livestock that's happening in Summerford that you know of?
Well, it's in their bylaws that you can't have livestock, but when we got Sparks 5 years ago, everybody had animals, so I didn't think it was anything wrong.
Mm-hmm. So I should mention that CBC does have a request into the town for an interview so we can understand this issue better. But for now, Julia, if the town doesn't bend on this and you have to get rid of Sparks, what will happen then? What's next for you?
We're just hoping that the town is in a position right now to change their town plan. They sent out flyers to the residents. I'm just hoping that they do what's right. I mean, there's a few people here in this town, and if it's done right, I mean, there's no issue, but Sparks is not hurting anyone, right?
So, Julia, you mentioned that 3 people, including yourself, received orders from the town, removal orders. And I understand that one of those people is standing there right next to you, Frank Brown.
Yes.
Yeah, Frank, can you tell us a bit about your story?
I got ordered to have my animals out of town by the 5th of June. If not, town council is coming out to remove my barn, remove my animals. I have 115, 120 animals in my garden, and I take them out every June month and bring them back every fall for the lamb. Like my sheep can't go nowhere right now because they're pregnant. Like if you move them, you're going to abort their babies. So is the town going to pay for that?
Wow.
Like my great grandfather owned this land back in the 1800s. So why now is the town attacking us? Mm-hmm. So it's just not right. They're just being bullies, just as far as all the town residents are concerned. And what's he coming after next? Your cat and your dog, or your vegetables that you're growing in your backyard, or the fishermen tying on their boats in the harbor? Like, this got to stop somewhere, and it's going to stop pretty quick because the town of Somerford residents is not going to put up with it.
Well, Frank Brown, Julia Hawkins, thank you so much for telling us about your situation. Hopefully we'll hear from the town and get some more explanation about what's happening. But for now, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Fishery is up and down. If you're not happy with that, then in my opinion, you should not be a fisherman.
Well, he's heading back out to fish, saying $2.20 for crab is bad, but it's better than zero. We return to Lassie just ahead. Well, against the advice of his union, a fisherman from Lassie is getting back out on the water. Terry Ryan and his son say they've waited long enough. Their boat, the Atlantic Bluefin 2, is making its way back to the crab grounds. Here Now's Terry Roberts is in Lassie today, and here's more of his conversation with fisherman Terry Ryan.
We supported the tie-up now for about 3 weeks, and we realised that all we're getting out of this now is lost fishing time, lost money, bills to pay, bank payments to make, and we've come to the conclusion that $2.20 is better than zero. Zero is your revenue off crab if you don't fish crab.
Some have said that by doing this, you know, by defying the advice of the union, that you're playing into the hands of seafood producers, the plant owners. Would you agree with that?
No, I don't see it that way, because I've done a fair bit of research on markets and how they work, and why the price of crab is so low as it is. No, I don't see it that way. I don't have that inbred mistrust of processors and buyers, not to the degree that a lot of other harvesters apparently have.
Okay, so now you wrote on Facebook over the weekend, you got a lot of attention when you said that you can make a go of it at $2.20 a pound. You can turn a profit this year, you can pay the bills. How is that possible?
Yes, my post speaks for itself there, I think. I can turn a profit. I'm not a big profit, and I'm not happy with $2.20 a pound. No, I'm not happy at all, but I was much happier last year at $7.60 a pound. I had a fantastic year, a bumper year, a record year, an undescribable year, profit-wise last year. And I've been into fishery long enough to know now that you can't have those record years every year. I wish you could. You know, the fishery is up and down. It's up and down. My father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather were fishermen. And the fishery has always been like that. So if you cannot live with that, if you're not happy with that, then in my opinion, you should not be a fisherman. Get a job at something else, maybe a teacher. I was a teacher one time. I knew what my salary was going to be every year. There was no fluctuation unless I stepped from the classroom into an administrator's role or something like that. But if you can't take the fluctuation and plan and budget for the fluctuations, maybe you should consider another job.
Would you be welcoming of people who wanted to come here and interrupt, perhaps if your boat wanted to land here, if Jamie Mullen, who's stuck in the ice offshore, came in here, tried to land crab in defiance of this tie-up? Yeah. Would the people of Lassie tolerate that?
Oh, I firmly believe they would. Absolutely, I have no doubt whatsoever. And any boat that wants to land in Lassie, they're safe as in the arms of Jesus. If any other boats, I believe, wants to land their crab in the safe port of Lassie, to have it offload it this year to stay away from Jason Sullivan's Arctic lemmings, as I call them, I think Lassie is your port. We welcome you here. The grocery stores would welcome you. The fuel dealership would welcome you. The offloading companies we got two here would welcome you. The monitors and graders would welcome you. Here in Lassie with open arms, our economy would be booming.
You're a maverick in this industry. You're a hard-charging fisherman. How would you describe your union's leadership, its handling of this dispute that's ongoing for the last number of weeks?
The leadership of the FFAW is the worst the FFAW, in my memory, has ever had. Our leadership over the years, I guess, has been Richard Cashin, Earl McCurdy, Keith Sullivan, and now Greg Priddy. But this is the worst leadership we've ever had, Jason Spingle and Greg Priddy. When you come down the ladder below those two, the people in the FFAW are, in my opinion, superb. The staff reps, the inshore council members giving up their volunteer time to try to do the best they can, and I stress it is voluntary. The crab chairs are trying to do their best, but the top leadership in the FFAW stinks.
You know, Jamie Mullen made a very public post on Facebook over the weekend describing why he was going to go fishing. He's got to pay the bills. He's got an enterprise to upkeep. He's got crew to pay, families that depend on this. How would you describe his actions?
I think Jamie Mullen needs to be nominated for the Order of Newfoundland and then the Order of Canada.
Are the glory days of the crab fishery over?
No. The glory days of the crab fishery are not over. The glory days of the shrimp fishery are not over either. This fishery, like I said earlier, is cyclical. And I mean, we just invested millions of dollars buying extra crab quota and shrimp quota. We bought it when the price was high. We bought crab quota last year. I paid $40 a year before last, I'm sorry. $40 a pound for some of it and $35 a pound for the others. And now we're millions of dollars in debt to BMO. But it's going to come back. That's going to be a wise investment. And if I didn't think that, I wouldn't be involved in the fishery. I take the risk. A lot of other fishermen do the same thing, that are hard-working, aggressive fishermen who want to live a lifestyle different than just scraping enough money to get HEI claims and pay as little income tax as possible to keep our system going.
Let's see, Fisherman Terry Ryan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sometimes international calamities hit hard here at home, and that's certainly the case with the Bangladeshi community. A major cyclone has hit that country.
I'm the only boy in my family, and I have two sisters, so I was so worried about them.
On the Go's Anthony Germain has more on the local impact of Cyclone Mocha. That's just ahead.
Frequently, international calamities hit hard at home, and that's certainly the case for the Bangladeshi community because of Cyclone Mocha. 750,000 people evacuated. Ishmael, tell me about your family and where they live in Bangladesh.
So my family live in Chokoria, which is an Upazila of Cox's Bazar district. So they're safe now, and my people are also safe. But some people's house was gone, and some people are homeless right now. And government took all the people to the shelter, and my family is also there. And I was so worried about them because I just came here last January. So luckily, we are so lucky that it didn't go very bad.
So your family was some among the 750,000 people who were evacuated. What happened to them as they moved them?
So they moved to a shelter right now, but some people's houses are gone, and some people's houses are right now in their position. So my house, luckily my house is not affected by the cyclone Mocha, but my family went to the shelter right now, and right now the situation is good right now. My family went to my house again. Some people are homeless right now, but government are taking some steps to recover them.
Yeah, I think there's more than 10,000 houses have been destroyed. So you've just said your house is okay,
Yeah.
which is great. Bangladesh is no stranger to cyclones.
Yeah. There's our cyclone went in over our country, so it's not new. But this one is so hard for us because it was signal of 10. So it was so dangerous for us. We were so worried about it.
You're talking about the strength of the cyclone, because I think it looked as though it was going to be a direct hit, and then it kind of turned.
Yeah,
right?
it turned to the Burma, but our island, the Saint Martin Island, it affected very badly. The people of there, they all evacuated, and they all are in the shelter right now. So.
Did you talk to your mom or your dad or your sisters?
Yep, I did.
And what did they say to you?
Oh, they were so worried about our house, but luckily we're lucky that our house is not affected that much. But the people who live in Saint Martin and the beach area, they're so affected for this.
So how did you feel when you got in touch with your family and they said, "Okay, listen, Ishmael, you don't have to worry, we're okay"?
Yeah, I was so tensed about them because I'm the only boy in my family, and I have two sisters. So I was so worried about them. But when they told me that they are okay and our house is right, so I was so happy. But I feel very bad about the people also, because we used to live with them. So they are now homeless, and they're taking shelter in a government place. So I'm so sorry about them also.
Yeah, so now I guess it's time for the country to rebuild. Listen, I'm glad that your family is safe, even though, as you point out, many people aren't. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Or for people in Maine, Friday was a chance to get some time up close with the Prime Minister. Justin Trudeau made the first trip ever by a sitting Prime Minister to the north coast of Labrador. It included a community feast. Here's how it looked.
Hey there! What's your name?
Martina.
Pleasure to see you, Martina. How about you? What's your... Nice to meet you. Thank you so much. What's your name?
Cornelia.
Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
I'm also available for weddings and parties on weekends.
Well, I just want to say this is such a special day, the first time a sitting Prime Minister has ever come to Nunatsiavut. So I want to thank... A better relationship with Inuit means a better Canada.
A number of you, the elders in the room, will remember that my dad, who was Prime Minister of Canada a very long time ago, used to like to bring me with him to visit the north, to understand Canada, to understand Inuit Nunangat. Being able to come up here and to be able to bring my youngest son, Hadrian, with me today. Like most kids, he'd rather be outside playing on bikes than having his dad embarrass him in front of a gym full of people. But it was really important for me not just to be able to spend time with him, but for him to be able to see the parts of Canada that I love so much, but quite frankly, that far too many people don't get to see. So being able to be here with you, to celebrate, to see some cultural performances, mostly to be able to get to spend a little time with you is something that's hugely important to me. I want to say thank you for your incredibly generous welcome. I want to say thank you for everything you do to build such strong communities here in Nain, across Nunatsiavut and across Inuit Nunangat.
All right, so time for a look at the long-range forecast. And Ashley, earlier you were saying that things are looking pretty good as we get on throughout the week.
It is. Temperatures warming up. We're talking about teens, which is nice. You know, we do have a few single digits in there as well, but let's take a look at what's going on. Unfortunately, it is a bit unsettled though, especially as we head through the overnight on Wednesday. So we will see those showers roll through again, right through the overnight and continue for a good most of Wednesday. In fact, for the island, you will see some clearing though for the west as we head into the evening hours. Labrador, you're still in that cold pocket of air, so the potential for flurries is still certainly possible right as we head into the evening hours on Wednesday. And like I said, that clearing trend will be the story. Now, this is much cooler temperatures though on Wednesday for the western half of the island. Labrador as well, that's no different, 3 to about 8 degrees through the day. Again, still looking at that potential for some flurries, especially in the morning and evening hours as your temperatures are going to be a bit cooler. Once you get to your daytime highs though, that should change over to showers. Now, as far as the island is concerned, showers through central, eastern Newfoundland, likely some sun to start though, so it'll be the opposite as the west coast. So you are still sitting in that warmer air. So between 11 and 13 degrees will be the story for your Wednesday. Now, that system will move off. And behind that, some cooler air will move in. Still looks unsettled as we head into Thursday. Same thing up across Labrador. Eventually, we will see that clearing sky, but the temperatures will be a couple of degrees colder for sure for most areas. So somewhere between 7 and about 10 degrees. Labrador, no different. Really no change in the forecast as far as temperatures are concerned. You're talking between 3 and 8 degrees as your daytime highs on Thursday. Long range forecast looks pretty good, especially as we head into the long weekend. We're looking at temperatures in the teens, 13, 14 degrees it looks like for both Friday and Saturday at this point, with this mix of sun and cloud for both days. For central Newfoundland, a little bit more sunshine in play. Temperatures a tad warmer, between 16 and 17 degrees. Western Newfoundland, you'll be sitting in the teens as well. Your overnight lows looking pretty nice as well, 6 to 7 degrees. And plenty of sunshine at this point in the forecast. Now for eastern Labrador, you're looking at that similar warm up, 14 degrees both Friday and Saturday with a mix of sun and cloud. And for western Labrador, same thing, some showers certainly possible for Friday, but by Saturday clearing and a high near 14 degrees. Now sun, I believe, can't remember what I put up there. Oh yeah, evening walk. That's what it was. Sunset in Foxtrot. Thank you to Justin for that lovely shot there. Oh, isn't that beautiful?
Oh, gorgeous.
Thank you so much, Justin, for that photo. And if you have any weather photos, send them to Facebook, Twitter, or email them to nophotos@cbc.ca.
Thanks, Justin. And I can't believe it's a long weekend this weekend. I completely forgot about that. May is just flying by.
First unofficial long weekend of the summer.
Wow, and the weather is looking fine. Well, that's it for us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good night.